right, boys.
Fans are on their feet, getting ready to go racing. Final playoff race of round 1 at Bristol.
Track is good and rubbed in from the ARCA race earlier today. And it's interesting always to see who wants to charge hard early on. Great restart or start for everybody.
Whoa.
Very clean.
Looked like Sheldon Creed got really loose, and John Hunter's going to try to take advantage of that. To the inside he goes.
Wasn't sure if Nemechek was helping him get loose or if Creed was getting loose on his own, but Creed was able to gather it up, stay in front for now with Nemechek right there.
Yeah, Creed is tiptoeing a little bit. He's not fully jumping into that traction compound. He's running just above it, trying to tighten that truck up a little bit. Yeah, he's definitely on the loose side of things.
Looks like Todd Gilliland up to the top, and he'll look to the bottom now. But these truckers are being really racy early. The caution's already out.
No.
Oh, Sam Mayer. Boy, what a tough night it has been for Mayer. And there's DiSavino that's involved in that as well. Mayer had an issue in qualifying for the ARCA race, practice, excuse me, for the ARCA race, and then had an issue in the race as well. And now here in the early laps, significant damage to that 32 truck. He was the winner of this race a year ago at just 17 years of age.
Yeah, tough to kind of grasp what happened with that replay. We'll see if we can get back a little bit. But man, just a tough break. And then here's the ARCA race early on. He's in the 23 car in that shot, and wrong place, the wrong time again.
I got to tell you, Vince, he shocked the NASCAR world when he went to victory lane. But yeah, 17 years old. Talked about your successes at Bristol. That was amazing.
Not going to happen tonight, though. Early caution at Bristol. NASCAR Truck Series racing for Bristol on FS1. It's presented by Blue Emu. Great to have you with us tonight. Under caution early. 3-truck incident involving Josh Rail and Sam Mayer, last year's race winner, and also Howie DiSavino III involved in that one as well. Sheldon Creed out front. He has led them all so far, and John Hunter Nemechek has been right on his tail at
It's been eventful for Creed. He's been sideways. What do you think, Kurt? You think we'll get a live in-race update from the race leader?
I think we should do our best right here. Let's go to him.
Let's try.
All right, Harold.
Hey, Sheldon Creed, Michael Waltrip, Kurt Busch, and the boys at Fox. Do you copy?
Yes, sir. I got you, Michael.
Well, buddy, it looks like you had your hands full those few laps, first few laps sideways, but hanging on to that lead. How's the truck, and what's the track like for us viewers at home?
Yeah, I fired off a little loose there, especially in the spray, so it ran up the track a little bit, but just needed to come to us a little bit, feel it out, and yeah, try to keep this Ford truck behind us.
Well, I'm telling you, the way you drove that truck at Darlington sideways, I know your arms are all warmed up and ready for the challenge. Have fun tonight, buddy. We're going to enjoy watching.
Thank you, guys.
Kurt, what other sport do you get to do that? Go right onto the field and
Talk to the guy leading the race, leading the championship standings. I mean, that's what's so much fun about
Without
NASCAR.
being wrestled to the ground by security and arrested.
Are we in breach? All right, let's go on down to Jamie and learn about 32, Sam Mayer.
Well, Sam Mayer, it went even worse when they brought the truck to pit lane. Finally, they're still sitting here trying to get it off of the track. When they drop it off of the jacks, the left front is still just dragging. They had to take a saw to it, cut a little bit of it off. They finally just dropped it from the jack again. I'm looking out. It looks like they did get it raised enough, but one lap to go until the green flag, and he's already lost so much time on pit lane.
Well, keep an eye on Mayer, and well, that could just be a miserable night limping around if they don't have that all sorted out. Ben Rhodes in the 99.
I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about the truck yet. I just got to get rolling here. I'm trying to be easy getting going. I know Johnny was trying to stick his nose in on me, but it's a long race.
Yes, sir. That's Bristol for you. You always want to try to get the heat in the tires, get things settled, sort out your handling characteristics, and the guy behind you is like, nope, mine's good to go, bro. Move out of the way. And that's Sauter, man. You got to love Sauter's tenacity, always wanting to go to the front. He can get the job done tonight. He can be a dark horse.
Yeah, former winner here. In fact, one of only 2 drivers in the field that have won in a truck at Bristol. One of them is all damaged. That's Sam Mayer. Johnny Sauter's the other, the 2018 winner. And Johnny has gone quite a while without a win, so he would like nothing more, even though he's not in the playoffs, and to get that victory tonight.
We'll have the choose rule in effect tonight. That's where a driver can choose if he wants the inside lane or outside lane based off what he believes is his handling characteristics. And on the left side, Vince, we've got the current point standings for things.
Yeah, pretty tight down there around that cutoff line.
It's going to remain that way all night too, and that's what's so much fun about the stage racing is these guys know how important each lap is and each finishing position in the 2 stages that lead up to the running to the checkered flag.
Remember, if you're below that line at the end of the night tonight, you are out of playoff contention, out of the championship hunt. So Zane Smith and Chandler Smith have a little bit of work to do. No relation, by the way, if you're new to the series.
I can call them the Smith boys, though, right?
You sure can. You can call them anything you want, Mike. But
Right
Smith
along
boys is good.
There's that visor cam. You see Zane Smith heating his tires up. You know, it's a little bit frustrating as a racer when they say 1 to go and then they call it off and they do it again and call you're on the chip. You are set on go when you start your engine at Bristol, and just the waiting is sometimes painful.
Well, that, and it's the sequence that you're going through heating up your tires. If you've got your tires heated up with the fronts first, rears, whatever you're doing for your rhythm, and then they count it or call it off, and you got another lap or so, you're like, man, I had my stuff ready to go a lap ago. And then you're collecting marbles the longer that you stay out there.
I'm not overly surprised Creed took the top because we saw him running just outside of the traction compound. I know John Hunter is happy to take the bottom because he likes it.
Yeah, this is interesting. I like this little switch up by Creed.
55 laps in stage 1, and we are on lap 14.
Wow, that was a great start by Creed. Pulled a little pump fake there on John Hunter and didn't go when John Hunter thought he was gonna, and it gave a big advantage.
Yeah, I think he kind of laid it to him there on that restart. Creed executed perfectly, and then Hunter Nemechek just didn't quite get launched on that bottom groove, and now he's got to try to battle. Oh, he's up the track.
Infinger and
Wide craft
Nemechek.
to the inside.
Yeah, a little contact between Nemechek and Infinger. They drifted up the track. Crafton took advantage. Nemechek still trying to hold on.
Has he got a flat? That right front's rubbed up pretty good.
I think he just got loose. He got carried up the track by Grant Infinger quite a lot. Look at this picture here. Zane Smith working the bottom on on Stuart Friesen. Boy, that's a perfect line, isn't it, Kurt, where you just hang that left front right on the bottom?
Just ripping it right around the bottom through 1 2. This is 3 and 4. He's working underneath John Hunter Nemechek now.
Well, Nemechek is dropping back. He was battling for the lead. Now he's back in that 8th spot, now dropping to 9th. And Friesen looks like he's going to get around him as well.
Yeah, Crafton made a huge move to take that spot away. I don't know what happened there, and his truck is still struggling. I mean, he has not regained any kind of traction.
Big loose and wiggle from Nemechek in that 4 truck, and
really
has been dropping back since.
Really hard racing there for Grant Infinger. Put his truck right on the right side of John Hunter and just made him loose.
Zane Smith and Chandler Smith, those are the two, 21 and 18, that are below the playoff cut line.
Yeah, they're going to be elbows out, racing hard all night long. That cut line will make you drive a little different, won't it?
Yeah, you gotta know it's looming. You know, you want to pass every truck you can and get every point you can. You know, everybody says we don't like point racing. Well, I do, because it's making these guys drive their tails off here early in the race.
That's what stage racing has done, is there's no time to get settled in. You're racing 3 mini races all in one. And at some of the races, you got to stay out on a set of tires and go to the second stage on how quick the laps will crank away at a short track.
Josh Berry with a big wiggle there as well.
I'm really curious. Oh, caution's out.
Second time we've got the caution out tonight, and it's the 15 of Gray. Tanner Gray finished 3rd here last year. Not going to happen this year.
What a tough season for Tanner Gray. Nothing seems to be going right.
I'm seeing a lot of loose race trucks right now. It seems like the balance that these guys shot for is all on the loose side, and whether it's just abnormal cooler temperatures out, or if the traction compound is a little different, it's interesting right now.
Is that getting your attention, knowing you're going to get on this racetrack and battle Saturday night? Or are you thinking, okay, it looks loose, I wonder if it's just these truckers, or do we need to work on our car?
Oh no, I'll be texting Matt McCall, my crew chief, like, hey, did you see the truck race? Here's what I think. Oh yeah, this is huge as far as just seeing the vibe and seeing the energy from the trucks all loose right now.
Keep an eye in the distance here, and you'll see Gray up there on the wall already. Tough night for a couple of hopefuls tonight. back at Bristol, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, under caution for the second time, and you see the 15 of Tanner Gray being put on the hook. We've already had 3 go behind the wall. Fogelman, Cicerelli, Rayon, all done for the night, at least at this point. John Hunter Nemechek has had a handful, went from battling for the lead, dropping all the way back to 10th. Ben Rhodes, another one of our playoff drivers, runs 17th. Let's go down to Josh Sims. Josh.
And as you guys mentioned, John Hunter Nemechek not happy with that last restart. As you mentioned, dropped from 2nd to 10th. You saw him go 3 wide at one point, and you heard him over the radio say the Goodyear got knocked off the front of his tire. Said everything else looks okay, but they got some work to do to get back up towards battling for the lead. Jamie?
Josh, one thing that several drivers are concerned with and listening on the radio is the amount of debris that's on the racetrack. Kurt, you've raced here. You know what it's like on these short tracks. There's marbles. There's some debris from the contact that we've seen so far, but they're certainly concerned after only 28 laps how dirty it is.
For sure. I mean, 100% when you're in the playoffs, you're wanting a clean track. You don't want to be running anything over, and you're overthinking a lot of little details. And yes, when there's trucks running into the wall and the wreckers are out there cleaning up debris, there's a bunch of trash. And this race is right after an ARCA race as well. So there's a lot of extra little things that jump out there.
Different kind of rubber as well, different tire that ARCA runs compared to what the trucks run. How about Carson Hocevar? You know, sometimes teams talk in code. See if you guys can figure this out.
Like, it's not that bad that we need to, you know, avoid what we're doing, especially for how many laps it's taking and how little we have on these, you know? Strategy deal, we just don't need to be the only one doing that, you know what I mean? Agreed. But also, this thing will be better if 3 spots better, you know? I want to say it without saying it, you know?
What are they saying? They want to say it without saying it, so what are they saying?
To me, what I picked up first is that they've hardly run any laps under green. They might be looking to stay out at the end of stage 1. And then they're saying that once the truck is able to grab that lead, if they do stay out, it's going to give it free lap time because it's going to have clean air.
Yeah, and you can make this race on one stop. So it's a matter of whether you want those fresh tires. And like Kurt said, if you keep running caution flag laps, you don't need those tires necessarily. So, and also, what does a track do? How does that traction compound you see just below the 42 truck there, the darker area of the track, how does that wear? Does it wear off? Do they run up the hill? Because if you go up the hill, I think you're going to see a little bit more tire wear. That's like 2 or 3 tenths of a second right now. If you can get down there and really hug the bottom black stripe on the bottom of the track, that's just free grip, and it helps that truck turn, and that's what these guys are searching for.
That traction compound, when you look at that picture there, Kurt, what kind of condition is it in from a driver's perspective?
It's peak and ready to go right now. And you put your left sides down on that yellow line like Mikey's talking about, and then the right sides are in that caked up area. And if you hit it just right, your truck is on rails. If you miss it by literally the width of that paint, that 6 inches, then things get squirrely.
And Vince, the yellow line he's talking about is hidden under that black,
Under the black
traction compound. You can see where it is, and that's what the driver is shooting for. And we've both raced there enough, Kurt, to know that even if you get a little bit under it coming off the corner, it just seems like it really rockets your truck around the turn.
This is the final race in round 1 of the playoffs, and we, of course, began there in the St. Louis area in the shadow of the arches at Worldwide Technology. And then we went to Darlington. And always fun going to Darlington. Certainly was fun for Sheldon Creed, right? He won them both. Now, here in Bristol, and we're going to go out and roll the dice in Vegas, and then Talladega and Martinsville. How about those 3 races for round 2?
You said it, rolling the dice. You know, you leave Vegas and you might have had a little bit of fun at the tables, but when you go to Talladega and Martinsville, it's a bit of a crapshoot. You can be caught up in the big one at Talladega, and then we go to the littlest track where you can just get rubbed innocently and blow your tire out and lose 20 spots. So you're right, Vince, it's a roll of the dice.
Get your feelings hurt at all 3 of those places for different reasons. All right, let's do this restart thing here. What do you say? We've got Matt Crafton on the inside of that yellow, neon yellow 88. Sheldon Creed will restart on the outside with Infinger and Hocevar in the second row.
What about Hocevar? Nice steady run early. Austin Hill up 2 from his starting spot up to the 6th position. These racers are wanting some some laps to be run off here.
See if we can string some together to the end of the stage. 23 to go here in stage 1 at Bristol.
Another solid restart for Creed, and then the battle for second. Seems able to shake this out. Is Crafton going to kind of yield it in there, or is he going to just crank it right through the bottom side of 3 and 4? He's right there.
Oh, Hocevar tried to close the door, couldn't do it. Crafton got right up in there, and here comes Austin Hill with him.
I love how Crafton took that corner. He just rolled in easy, Vince, really tiptoed into the turn and gunned it through the middle, just like you see Austin Hill do there, taking advantage of that traction compound on the bottom and making the move.
Boy, Hocevar got up out of that traction compound and had a little wiggle as well, and is going to lose a few spots because of it.
Just watch from the visor cam with Zane Smith on how narrow it is. You got to get that left side's perfect, right to get the right side's right in that traction compound. There is not much room for error.
And by the way, you're running 150 miles an hour and you're bouncing all over the place, and you have to be that precise. What a great job.
It is tight. Look at this. The 4 of Nemechek, the 38 is Gilliland, 52 is Friesen, the 18 is Chandler Smith. All playoff drivers right there.
What a move by Friesen.
That was.
How'd he do that?
I don't know. I was too busy watching the 4 truck struggling, and Friesen's like, beep, beep, I'm rolling through.
Meanwhile, a little further back from that pack, you'll find Ben Rhodes running 15th, and Rhodes has now slipped below that playoff line, and he's on the outside looking in. So things can change just that quickly as we're still here in stage 1, and already we've had a shuffle of our playoff picture.
I think I see a fender rub up ahead. Somebody's got some smoke. Is that the 4 truck?
I think it's the 18, Kurt. I believe
18, yeah.
you see the left front there. He's had some damage.
Yeah, a little whisper of smoke when the truck travels through its compression in the banking. It rubs. On a straightaway, it doesn't. That's not good.
And
it might not last very long.
As a driver, you smell that smoke and you think, what do I do? Do we pit and lose a couple of laps, or do we hope it clearances itself?
Oh, he's got a pit. It's no good there. That's not going to lead to good things.
Chandler Smith had mechanical issues at Gateway in our playoff opener and finished 28th in that one. Here's the contact that may have created that rub. Let's see if the 38 and the 18 make contact.
And that's how
the 38 was trying to check up a little bit from John Hunter. 18 was diving in there like normal.
That's how Friesen took advantage of that. Was able to drive around them both.
You think it's going to last 14 laps, Mikey?
I think it is. I think that left front will clearance itself, and he's got to go for it.
I hope it. Yeah, you're right. It's almost like you got to hope and pray that it gets to this stage break. Wow.
That's a time when you might just say, I'm going to ride behind my teammate here and say a prayer. Hopefully we can make it another 12 laps.
Running 12th right now with 12 to go here in stage 1. Right behind his teammate Nemechek. Going to take a break, but we're going to go side by side. You won't miss a thing. Going to keep on trucking from Bristol. you've been watching it, and that's the 20 of Boyd, Spencer Boyd, and that easy pull flagpoles machine. And you see him up on the wall there, and we nearly saw an incident involving Boyd when Sheldon Creed was trying to get around him. And it doesn't look like it's going to be damage that's going to put an end to his night, but there is certainly some damage in that 20 truck of Boyd.
Whoa. You see a truck spinning at Bristol, Vince, and you know, you try to slow down, but so fast speeds here, it's hard to do so.
Pits are open. How about 18 radio, Chandler Smith?
The front's getting bad. We got a pit. What's your balance? We got a pit. It's perfect. I'm just in a fucking roadblock.
Well, it says
his teammate's really slow. That's what he said there. But yes, he's got a pit and get that left front clearance. I'm glad it's made it this far. I was very hopeful for a KBM truck. A little biased there, but just want to make sure that they don't lose a championship off of a tire rub, man.
And he's still in this. That's what's so much fun, Vince. We're winding this season down, and there's 10 guys that are still thinking, I'm going to win a championship.
Nemechek will be coming to his pit box for a stop. Let's go downstairs and join Josh Sims, who's awaiting.
Yeah, John Hunter Nemechek came over the radio saying he needs to be able to turn better. He wants to run that bottom line, but he's struggling to make that work right now. So that's something they're concerned about on the radio of the Ford team. Jamie?
Chandler Smith had to make this pit stop to address that tire rub that they had on the left front. So they went ahead, they had to stop short because Sam Mayer is still in the pit box in front of him, and he hit his marks on the sign. Perfectly, you're going to take 4 tires. He said if we have to, we'll stop twice during this race, but we're out here for points.
You know, I just love what he said, what Chandler said about that truck. He said it's perfect, and he just needs some track position, and this could give him that track position. They had to take a little extra time in the pit box there to beat that fender out, but staying out when the stage break happens could be an advantage.
And remember, Chandler Smith knows how to get around this place. He's run here twice, and he's finished 2nd and 5th. So he's got a truck full of confidence rolling into this one.
Another playoff contender. Came to pit road. Ben Rhodes, we talked about. Ben said he fell outside of the top 15, and when he got to his pit box, that his troubles weren't over.
Oh yeah, that's tough when you get bottled in. Look at that truck behind, truck in front. That's a yard sale in the pits, man. That's no good.
I believe in Ben Rhodes, though. This guy's a competitor. I think he'll be back. I think he'll fight through this.
It's been really, I think, a career year in some ways for Rhodes. Not only did he get those 2 wins to start the season, but he really put together a solid year of results and top 5s, was runner-up a couple of times.
We're gonna get back green before the end of this stage. We got an interesting set.
It'll be a quick dash here with
set of laps coming up. Yeah. Start. Here they
Creed
go.
with the jump, and there's 1 to go in this stage.
What about Austin Hill? We talked about the struggles on the short tracks for him. He says, I'm having none of the struggles.
And stage points matter every single position. Zane Smith trying to get in there underneath Crafton. And that's the end of stage 1. Creed is the winner. Boy, how about Sheldon Creed? He's won 4 of the 5 stages in this round. This guy has, all of a sudden, this GMS group has lit it up. Sheldon Creed staying out front. at Bristol. Pits are open. Stage 1 complete. Camping World Truck Series. Sheldon Creed, the stage winner, and you see those names in white are not playoff contenders, so we had 3 of them in the top 10.
Thing that sticks out there to me, Vince, is Austin Hill. He really needs those points, and he was able to have a great run in that stage. And now we're pitting. You pit off turn 2.
There's Todd Gilliland in that 38, so one of the playoff trucks. Differing strategies here. You can make it on one stop. It's a matter of whether Hocevar, another playoff driver, pitting as well. Let's go down to Regan.
Well, Vince, you see the 42 of Carson Hocevar. A lot of debate on that radio on if they were going to stay out or not. Ultimately, they decided they weren't good enough with their truck right now. Wanted to pit, make some adjustments. That truck's too tight. He cannot get it to turn. It's chatter in the front tires when he turns the wheel. The 38 of Todd Gilliland also very tight with that truck. Cannot run the bottom. They needed an adjustment.
That's what I was thinking you'd see, was guys that weren't quite happy with their truck's handling, they would pit. But here's the real bad news for those 2 guys. Not very many trucks pitted. There are so many trucks still on the lead lap because we've hardly had any green flag racing. They're going to have a ton of trucks that they've got to knife through to work their way back up if they want to try to collect stage points in stage 2.
We'll take the green on stage 2 when we come back to Bristol. It's been all Sheldon Creed so far. Who's going to challenge? Anybody? Hey, check it out on Sunday. George Kittle leads the Niners against the Eagles, or Matt Ryan and the Falcons take on Tom Brady and the defending champion Buccaneers. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Only on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Got those undefeated Panthers.
Well, it's early, Michael. It's one game.
Hey, be an optimist, okay?
We're 1-0.
You can only win the ones you play, right? They're off to a good start. Let's go downstairs to Jamie.
And Taylor Gray now only in his 3rd truck race, and he told me that he watched the 2019 race. He also watched the 2020 race in order to prepare, and then on Wednesday for 4 hours he sat with his crew chief Chad Johnson, his spotter Nick Payne. They dissected the notes that he took. His goal coming in for the first stage was to move up about 15 places. He was able to move up 21 positions, so he's exceeding the goals that he set for himself coming in. So far, having a great night.
Yeah, just inside the top 15. He ran the ARCA race earlier this evening. You see finished 3rd. Drew Dollar, who's in the 51 truck. Sam Mayer in the 32 truck, also running in the ARCA race earlier this evening.
That sounded like the Chad Johnston that used to be a crew chief for Kyle Larson.
That's exactly right.
And those are very wise words to help a young driver get settled. And it seems like they got some good chemistry going already.
What about all the studying these drivers and you, Kurt, do these days on video and tendencies and all the engineering? It's got to be almost mind-boggling sometimes.
It's fun in ways because it's learning something new. I mean, there's the SMT program that shows you all the racing lines, steering, brake, throttle. I then go to the simulator and crank out laps on my iRacing. I go to the real sim with the Chevy Performance Center. I mean, there's so much work you have to do to try to be as best ready for Sunday when they drop the green, because you got no practice anymore.
It's become so technical, hasn't it? Not just getting in it when you get to the track and going out and putting down laps, that's for sure.
But it still comes down to these old school type restarts and some short track action.
And Sheldon Creed in that familiar position out front, and Austin Hill has gotten around Crafton for 2nd. Here comes Zane Smith in the 21. Friesen is with him. Boy, Chandler Smith way up top. A little further back in the pack, trying to make something of it as well.
I saw Chandler Smith on the high side of 1 and 2, 3 wide. He chose to be there. I think Sauter put him up there through 3 and 4 that last lap.
This is just great action. You can see how intense and how important every spot is as these guys beat and bang trying to get forward.
Johnny Sauter in the 13, former winner here as mentioned, former series champion, running right there right behind the 4 of Nemechek, and now the 18 of Smith comes into the picture. If you look at the pylon on the left-hand side of the screen, those drivers highlighted in green, Creed and Nemechek, have already secured a spot in the next round. The others that are highlighted are playoff drivers hoping to get into the next round, as Drew Dollar, and some significant contact behind him. DiSavino is involved in that one again as well. A couple of drivers just had nowhere to go as Dollar spun around.
That's Dawson Cram, the blue truck. That's a part of that as well. No, Rust-Oleum on Danny Bones' truck. He's been a sponsor for 12 years and was looking for a good run for Rust-Oleum tonight, and now you can see just a pile up on the back.
It's been a tough night for the Young's Motorsports group.
Yeah, this is how fast
I'm so sorry, guys. My bad.
It's just tough. You know, you get an opportunity like Drew Dollar has to race in one of Kyle's trucks. You know it's fast. You know what the teammates, how they're running, and you just push so hard trying to get everything you can get. And every now and then at a place like Bristol, it's going to step up and bite you, and that sounds like what Drew thinks happened there.
That's what I was going to say, is like the lap times are so fast here, and if you miss that traction compound by just a little bit early in a run when everybody's cranking out those lap times and you're still somewhat on cooler tires, it's tough. One little slip up leads to a pretty big mess here at Bristol.
Mentioned Young's Motorsports. We saw earlier the 20 truck of Spencer Boyd had a problem, and there's Tate Fogelman climbing in to the safety vehicle after his 12 truck suffered too much damage to continue on. And the crew's having a conversation with Drew Dollar inside that 51.
I think we need more tow trucks. It's a big mess here. So, he's trying to get underneath another truck, and just the real estate closes up quick.
And then right there he lets off the brake, and that caused it.
It's tough though. I mean,
you don't know what's going on.
No, there's so many trucks in the same spot. But yeah, it looks like it got loose when he was trying to battle for position underneath Purdy, and it came around on him.
A great job by the 9 of Colby Howard making his way below it. You can see after that it's just a mess.
And that's what Bristol can do to you when you get one spinning up ahead. Sometimes you have nowhere to go, and it can put an end to your night in a hurry. And that's what these championship caliber and contending drivers are hoping does not happen to them. You want to avoid those disastrous occurrences.
You know what's starting to creep into my mind? This might sound weird, but the last time the trucks were here, this place was dirt. And now, this is 1 year later, with the way that tires change, as far as the balance in the field, the way the setups evolve, it's been a long time since the trucks have raced here. And guys are struggling. One yellow leads to another yellow. I mean, we just got...
Watch Danny Bone. He had made it through the wreck, was down the back straightaway, and a truck slid up from the bottom. I think that was the 04 of Corey Roper.
Yeah, that's the old...
Past the accident. I mean, they were past the incident.
Danny had to be thinking, man, that was a close one. Oh, wow, this guy just landed in my lap.
Yeah, the way the safer barriers ping pong cars around now, it's crazy.
We went red flag because of this mess. It's going to take about the whole safety team here at Bristol to get this thing cleaned up. We think that there's the trucks that were involved.
That's a good way to look at it. The ones we think are involved.
Haven't quite reached the halfway point, but we've had a race full of action already. Championship contenders all battling for this piece of hardware.
Involved in something that you can do about it. You're there. Things happen so quickly here at Bristol. So we are in red flag condition. Lap 72 in the books, 128 laps to go. Sheldon Creed has led all 72. Austin Hill, Matt Crackton, Zay Smith, Stuart Friesen, your top 5. Tyler Ankrum, John Henry, Chuck Chandler, Smith, Grant Entringer, and Johnny Sauter round out the top 10. Martin Cleveland just outside the top 10 in the 11th spot. Taylor Gray, Austin Lane, Self, Ben Rhodes up to 14th now, and Haley Deegan runs in the 15th position. As you can see, massive amounts of kitty litter going down over there. Lots of fluid on the racing surface. Josh Berry runs at 16th, Chase Purdy at 17th, Colby Howard 18th, Derek Krause 19th, and Ryan Truex at 20th. Kenny Hill runs at 21st. Todd Gillen up to 22nd, Carson Hostbar 23rd, Blake Greenfield is 24th, Doug Kobe up to the 25th position. After some damage early, Kobe is making a nice bounce back from the 25th spot. Boss Allen 26th, Corey Roper 27th, Danny Bone 28th. And we get to Drew Dollar, who's just involved in that situation over there.
NASCAR Camping World Truck Series brought to you by Blue Emu. And see the truck stopped on the front stretch. We are under red while there's a cleanup after a multi-vehicle incident. Let's go downstairs, check in with Josh Sims.
And it's all about strategy right now for Zane Smith, who right now is running 4th in the field. He elected not to pit the last caution because they felt the stage points were more important and track position was more important. And speaking of track position, he's been trying to figure out the best line to run. He tried the top behind the 88 of Matt Crafton, said that didn't work, so next time he might try the bottom line. Either way, he said trying the top didn't affect him, so they're just experimenting. Jamie?
Josh, for Matt Crafton, he blew through the tires in that first stage. He wanted to come in at the stage break to work on the truck a little bit, but he and Junior Joyner, his crew chief, made the decision. They have to think that big picture that we talked about early on, so they stayed out there to get some stage points. He said he wanted some right rear wedge to help with the landing. It's getting snug center off. They're going to do a track bar, make a big swing in the air pressure when he does come in, Regan.
Well, it's been a great start for Austin Hill from 10th all the way up to 2nd to end that first stage. That was mission accomplished. They needed as many points as they could get right there. A little bit of concern, though, from this team right now. He has what they call a long brake pedal. That's when the brake pedal wants to travel because the brakes are overheating. The plan when they do pit to come in and potentially peel a little bit of tape off and try and get those brakes better for him so he doesn't have to fight that the rest of tonight. Jamie?
Well, for Sheldon Creed, his crew chief, Jeff Sienkiewicz, reminding him to keep the tires clean when we get back to running under caution. He said, I'm a little tight going into turn 1 and 3 and 4. It could possibly be faster if I could get to the gas with more confidence. It's just a little too free. If he could get some green flag laps, he thinks he could get it stabilized on his own, but he's not getting there yet, Vince.
Well, it has been a pretty solid effort so far for the two, but how about the troubles that the 4 of Nemechek has had? Listen to this radio from his teammate, Chandler Smith.
Hey, the 4 is on fire. The 4 is on fire in front of the firewall by his feet.
Been doing that for the past 3 laps. I don't think it's rubber.
It's getting worse.
Well, John Hunter Nemechek has already secured his spot in the next round of the playoffs, and that might be a good thing because he has had his hands full with an ill-handling truck at the beginning of the race, and now this issue. What do you make of it, guys?
I mean, right now I don't see any fluid coming out from underneath the truck. Your first instinct is usually it's a rubber buildup fire from the heat of the exhaust and some rubber that got collected. I
mean,
don't know.
there's never a good fire.
Well, sometimes, Vince, if someone says you're on fire, like that's a good one. But not in a truck. And you know what I saw, though? Both Chandler Smith and John Hunter, the adjustments they made on those pit stops, those trucks were fast. So if the fire goes out and he doesn't have a problem with that, watch that Ford truck. He could be strong.
Who's going to step up and challenge Sheldon Creed?
Wow, that's a great question. I talked about the Smith guys, and I felt like they would be strong and fast. Crafton just doesn't seem to get great restarts, but he has a really good truck. So I think he's got some company that's coming toward the front. And like Jamie said, so much strategy making the plan around these stage breaks.
It's interesting. Austin Hill has not had a top 10 in these first 2 playoff races. Maybe tonight is the night he comes alive in that 16 truck. He is currently running 2nd to Creed.
Yeah, I agree with you. Right now, he's got the gold star award of gaining the most points in a pressure cooker situation. So those guys did good stage 1. You know, Zane Smith as well. It's just a matter of staying smooth, staying calm. You know, there's been so many yellow flag laps that are red already, and we're not even halfway.
Yeah, what's it do? I mean, you can't really seem to get your rhythm. I mean, is that disruptive to you as a driver or just part of the territory?
I mean, this sounds weird for Kurt Busch to say it, and like, you gotta stay cool, man. You gotta stay cool. You can't get too excited.
Yeah, you say that very well with the headset on. It's when you've got the helmet on that's staying cool is the problem.
There's been a time or two.
130 degrees in that. In those
time
trucks.
or two over the years, you weren't able to do that. Surprisingly.
Gotta stay in the zone.
Hey, nobody's perfect, Kurt.
That's all good. It's so much fun learning over the years. Let's go to the 99's radio.
That's a good way to change the subject.
So what are we now for points above the cut line?
We're plus 11 right now.
Just got to play it smart still.
Yep, 10-4. A little bit aggressive here just to get a couple stage points for us to give us a little bit of a cushion.
Hard to be conservative at Bristol, though, isn't it?
Yes, and at the same time, though, there's this. That's why this is a cutoff race. There's so much excitement, so much work and pressure that's put on the teams, and you have to stay cool and get those points where you can, and just kind of go with the flow here. I mean, this is a crazy race so far. I mean, lots of yellows.
I have a question for you as a veteran. Will you be asking the same questions we heard Ben Rhodes say on Saturday night? You know, what's our point situation, or do you try just to let it play out? What's your, how do you approach a pressure cooker like you're going to have Saturday night?
For me, I like to go through the first 2 stages and do it on my own as far as just keeping track of the math and not asking the crew and not getting everybody all so worried about it. I want to know after stage 2 where we stand, and then that gives you the mindset on what we have to do. And for us in the Cup race, we have 250 laps to conclude that final stage. So a long race towards the end.
I think one of the interesting stories in this field tonight, the driver of that 24 truck, Doug Coby, who is a 6-time modified champ. How's he doing down there, Jamie?
Well, Vince, he's inside the top 25 right now. He has already made a pit stop, so he does have that under his belt. But, you know, this is his first race even on a radial tire. So his goal coming in was just not to make any mistakes. They did have to address a little bit of damage on the right-hand side of that truck. But one of the steps that he took to make sure he was more comfortable tonight was he raced last week in a modified at Richmond. He finished 5th, but his normal spotter wasn't able to make it. So he called Tyler Mon, who's his spotter here tonight, just so the two of them can get comfortable together on the radio. They can have that communication already established. He said this truck is capable of running in the top 10. He'd like to think by the end of this race that he as a driver would be able to do that also.
I'll tell you this, Vince, he's a very capable racer, but I'm not liking the damage on the right rear of that 24 truck. That could cause him some problems. A lot of speed here, Regan, at Bristol, so you can't have any damage on that right rear.
Well, certainly don't want damage on the right rear, Michael, and you also need the truck to handle good. That is what Carson Hocevar does not have right now. We saw them pit about 10 laps ago. Pitting again right now, they need a significant adjustment. This truck's still very, very tight for Carson. I will say there's been some chatter on the radio about getting the truck good right now, so potentially at this second stage break doing something to get that track position back. Keep an eye out for that.
Regan, how surprised are you that they came to pit road and made that big adjustment? I mean, that truck must be out of control.
Michael, at one point he had said that the truck is 6 numbers too tight, and what that means in driver's terms, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 6 tight, meaning it won't turn. He turns the steering wheel and the truck just goes straight. He said anytime that the right front of the truck gets to the corner, he can't do anything with it. So they were worried coming in tonight. This is a team that really felt like they were going to be way too free with the setup based on what they had last year. They tightened it up some, and obviously they're trying to get that out of it right now.
It's been such a consistent and impressive season for Carson Hocevar as a rookie, and he's just had some very solid finishes along the way.
Well, what about the rookies finish the most laps of everyone? Yep. Every lap but 2 he's been running, and yet with that stat, Vince, and that pit stop he just made, that truck is now outside of the playoffs. They're not in the top 8 to advance to the next round.
It's been crazy just to see the sensitivity on the truck's handling tonight. You know, whether it's Nemechek struggles early, Creed was sideways as he was leading, Hocevar is struggling big time. Sounds like tight. I mean, I use a scale of 1 to 5. If I'm saying 6, it's like a 12. So his truck is not turning the way that they expected it to.
This is interesting. That whole, we talked about at the opening, Vince, the Smith boys below the cut line and not being in a position to advance. Well, one of them has climbed all the way up to 22 points. I mean, he's inside there really solidly. What will the other one do? I think the 18 truck of Chandler Smith is tuned up and ready to roll.
Well, they're both inside the top 10 right now, with Chandler Smith running 8th and Zane Smith 4th. Certainly have put themselves in a good position, but we've got a long way to go here.
Yeah, but what fun racing. This is crazy intense.
Still just a quick, short 32 laps if we're able to go green. And that will definitely mix up on who might stay out and who might pit at that second stage break. But tons of points up for grabs here.
So Matt Crafton on the inside and Sheldon Creed on the outside. Creed has led them all so far, and he gets a good jump on this restart, bringing Austin Hill with him.
That is so typical of Bristol. That inside front row struggles to put the power down on those launches. And man, Crafton is just getting chewed up.
Great onboard view from Ben Rhodes and that bumper cam. That's Kligerman in the 75, and just ahead of Kligerman in that yellow 98 is Grant Enfinger.
That's my favorite bumper cam, just like that. Love it. Let's see if he's able to use it a little bit, or is he going to stay patient?
You know, you talked earlier, Vince, that Ben Rhodes had fallen outside of the top 8. Now he's clawed back his way back in. That's what it's going to be like all night for some of these guys down there around our playoff cut line.
Crafton and Friesen side by side.
Oh, Friesen gets loose, and Matt's trying to take advantage of the bobble there by the 52 truck.
Friesen's had a good playoffs so far, running a pair of top 5 finishes to get things started, 4th and 3rd.
What I'm seeing is guys that are running the bottom. If you stick it just right, everything's under control. If you miss it just by a little bit, now you lose the grip, and it seems like the side force is taken off your truck running that low lane, and it makes you even looser. Here's Crafton trying to get back in line, and Klingerman's not having any of it. He says, I want this spot too.
Klingerman in that 75 truck, well, they've really done a good job with that small team. GMS built trucks, and Klingerman has really handled them well. He has a couple of top fives.
Oh yeah, that's the chrome
last
horn
two
right
trips.
there. That's the chrome horn. He just moved him out of the way. And that's where Crafton was talking with his crew chief under that stage break on, hey man, I think we need to pit. The handling's not there. And Zane Smith just moves him. And that's where Crafton's lost all these spots since that restart.
Yeah, he started second, Kurt, on that restart, and he's all the way back to 10th. That's costly for Crafton.
Now the good news for Matt, though, is he came in with a nice 35-point cushion, gives him a little leeway there.
Yeah, plus those points he scored in the first stage, so that's a good night so far for them.
There's Friesen in the 52, running 6th. John Hunter Nemechek right behind him in the 7th spot. Chandler Smith and Zane Smith, two drivers who started outside the playoff picture when we began tonight. They're both in the top 5. Zane is 5th. Chandler is 4th.
And they both made their way inside the top 8, which would advance them to the next round right now. Long way to go, as you said, Kurt.
Well, I'm finally seeing a long green flag run, and Chandler Smith said, I like my truck. We're not changing it. Just let me drive it. And now he's showing. He worked his way up to 4th. And that's just the sheer driving of it right now. Passing guys left, passing guys right. Got Hocevar. Oh,
give you an update on Hocevar. He's making the pass here on Clay Greenfield, driving the 11 this weekend, but man, he hasn't gone anywhere since that pit stop. He's all the way back in the 23rd position right now.
And even more significantly, Mike, look there on the left, bottom left of the screen. Hocevar is in 10th of the 10 playoff drivers, so he's on the outside looking in now, as is Todd Gilliland via tiebreaker. So tight, just as we expected, on track and in the playoff standings. Going to take a break here at Bristol, but you won't miss a thing. Stay with us. Sheldon Creed is what they call walking the dog. I mean, he is putting it on them again tonight for the third time in 3 races in round 1 of these NASCAR Camping World Truck Series playoffs. I mean, he won at Worldwide Technology in dominating fashion. He did the same at Darlington, and he is putting it on them again tonight here at Bristol.
I mean, he's got a 4-second lead and only a 25-lap run. I mean, he's just cranking it out.
In 16-second laps.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just crazy.
3 seconds.
How quickly do things happen here? I mean, these laps click by so fast at 16 seconds. It's just, whoa.
Look at that. Nice short track action. Nemechek's truck is finally starting to come back to him, and he's like, all right, I want this stage point here.
I think that was a good example of how fast things happen here at Bristol, Vince. John Hunter said, I can't waste a lap or 2 running behind Friesen. I'm faster than him. I got to go. And he just put the bumper to him and the gas to the floorboard, and away he went. You can't waste any time at Bristol. Laps click off quickly.
Yeah, and then you get the log jams like this where everything just completely bottles up, and Creed's like, you know what, I'm going to use this advantage that I have of 3 seconds and just kind of ride this out at the end of the stage. But again, back to your point, Vince, 16-second lap times, the traction compound on the bottom, the high groove's starting to come in a little bit. There's so much going on, and if your truck is ill handling, everything happens twice as fast. Good handling trucks, things kind of slow down and you can zone in.
Pits are closed here in these final 2 laps of the stage. Sheldon Creed continues to lead. Tyler Ankrum running second. An impressive run for Ankrum tonight. Of course, he's not in the playoffs, but that doesn't mean that these guys stop striving to accomplish their goals, and certainly winning is always the goal, but you get one at Bristol, boy, that really makes things a lot better in the old confidence department as Creed captures the stage again.
Hey, Vince, what was the date when somebody else won one of these stages? Do you remember?
It's been a long time. My memory's not that good.
Was it before the lights went out in St. Louis?
Might have been July.
The defending series champ looking every bit like a champion again tonight here at Bristol.
Well, welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway, the Camping World Truck Series playoffs. Pits are open for the Stage 2 pit break right now, and you see the 52 of Stuart Friesen. He's going to hit pit road with that truck. Right now, he is wound up in there. We saw the battle before the end of the stage with him and John Hunter Nemechek. Spotted Rick Corelli trying to calm him down. He lost all grip in that truck. And the 16 truck of Austin Hill, that truck right now needs to have the fender's clearance. He's got a little bit of rubs on the left rear of that truck that he's concerned with. Too tight exit. Can't get the truck to turn on exit when he hits the gas pedal at this particular moment. Josh?
Zane Smith in the 21 truck coming into pit, running fourth, but you'd think he would be happy with that. He is not. He said it's unpredictable right now. He's kind of all over the place. Sometimes he's loose, sometimes he's tight. Either way, he's battling out there and contending towards the front, but he's got some work to do. Jamie?
For Matt Crafton also has some work to do. Remember, he wanted to make a wedge adjustment, but he was talking with Junior Joyner, and Junior decided there was more value if they went down with the track bar, if he was free off instead of the wedge. Final decision was down to for Sheldon Creed. He said he got a little free off. They went down half a pound in air pressure, but super happy with the truck right now. No chassis adjustments for Sheldon Creed.
Well, and Creed holds firm on position on pit road, and that's so important as you see the team's getting it done over the wall. Don't lose spots on pit road.
Rome wasn't built in a day. And neither were the championship hopes of 10 drivers in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series playoffs. Now, these drivers take their title aspirations to the last great Coliseum. It's Bristol, baby.
The world's fastest half mile. This is Bristol, and it's a playoff elimination race. 2 of our 10 championship hopefuls will be eliminated after this race tonight. It's a race that has been dominated by Sheldon Creed, who's trying to win his 3rd in a row, but now some problems for some of the playoff contenders here as we get ready for the beginning of stage 3. Watch the gas can. You can't throw it. He threw the equipment. That's a penalty. So the 21 will be penalized.
That guy just needed to catch it, but let's go to the 21's radio.
Yeah, penalty for throwing a fuel can. It's such a BS call. We just watched it on tape. You stay where you're at. We're fighting this to the end here. It's a really bad call.
Well, they can fight it, but I'm not seeing the officials change their call after they've made it. So that would be a first as you look at Bono Mannion, the crew chief for Zane Smith.
Yeah, NASCAR has rules for safety, and flinging that can over the wall, they deem that unsafe, and he will go to the back. And you know, Kurt, you can overcome penalties a lot of times if you have them early in the race, but now we're into the final stage. This is going to be a tough road.
And a tough one for the 16 of Austin Hill as well, caught for speeding on pit road, so he'll go back there also.
As was Tyler Ankrum. We saw Tyler running up front. Now he's in the back. What's this going to do to this crazy race we're having?
This is like Yahtzee. We're just rolling the dice with these guys, and this is a playoff cutoff, boys. We got to stay on it. But Hocevar, he stayed out through all this with an ill handling truck.
Yeah, speaking of rolling the dice, that's Hocevar in that black 42. There's Zane Smith coming from the back, going to try to make things up. Boy, that truck doesn't look like it's handling well.
He got in the wall. Looks like with that right front bench, you can see the Goodyear's rubbed off of it. Meanwhile, back up front, Carson Hocevar thinks going to be a moving chicane, but you saw Grant Enfinger really getting loose into turn 3.
Friesen going to work around Enfinger now, or try to, and then he gets sent up the track. Here comes Johnny Sauter right behind in that silver 13 truck.
Oh, and Nemechek, we've seen this already. He's not wasting any time. He gets to somebody, he punts him. But you punt on Stuart Friesen, he'll punch you back.
He'll find you back for sure. That's that dirt racer in him. But man, there is so many different trucks with handling characteristics. Here's a replay of Zane Smith from the visor cam. We're going to follow him down into turn 1, and there is just madness everywhere. And he's up in the marbles, and there is no grip up there, and it just continues to take off on him. That's just in the marbles. You're in all the trash that's up there.
I think he can overcome that. Not a lot of contact in the outside wall, but man, he's got to be so frustrated after fighting his way to the front and now finding himself all the way.
Yeah, he's running P20 and he's 10 points to the negative. So he's got a long 75 laps here to dig back in.
And Tyler Ankrum, who earlier was running up well inside the top 5, was involved in that with the 21 of Zane Smith, and because of that, Ankrum has gotten some damage that's forced him to pit road. So if you're a Tyler Ankrum fan, it's gone from bad to worse.
And Todd Gilliland, he's got to go elbows out. He's got to work his way back up and grab some points. I mean, what's happening here is this track is so line sensitive. That's where you have some guys loose, some guys tight. Now we've got Ankrum on pit road, and he was running second at the end of stage 2.
Yeah, he took that penalty for speeding and then ran into the wall. You can see the tape looks like that might be it.
Oh, around Kligerman.
Round goes Kligerman.
Gathered it up, but we are under caution as Clay Greenfield in that 11 truck has suffered some significant damage.
Flat left rear, that's no bueno, that's no good. Gotta try to keep air in the tires, but man, there is so much action going on for a bunch of playoff contenders. This track, it is so treacherous if you get just outside of that traction compound spray on cold tires. That's where you're seeing guys loose, some guys are tight, lots of action right now.
Let's see if we can.
Haley Deegan
maybe got a little help from Haley Deegan.
She was up on the outside of Parker, and they came together, running inside the top 15.
That's a good save, though, so Kligerman gets to fight a little bit longer in this battle. We have 21. Here's his visor cam. Just checking the mirror, looking around, and
whoa! He barely made it around the outside of the 75 truck.
Around the outside. I mean, that's where luck was on his side in that moment. That's a good break, though. He'll take that for sure.
Kligerman radio.
Tokyo and Drift showed up. Hooked you there, man. It was wacky. Waiting under a set of tires.
Wacky. But anytime you spin at Bristol and don't hit anything, it's a lot of luck. A lot of luck involved.
Very fitting for that 75 truck tonight. Jamie Howe.
That conversation continued between Chris Carrier and Parker Kligerman. He said, listen, when we go back to a restart, I don't want any more outside line restarts. I want you down. I want you to hug the center. I don't want to be out there racing all those guys.
Yeah, that's how sensitive the track is right now. If you hit it just right and you're tucked in that rail of where the traction compound spray is, you can make some passes. You're outside of it, you're gonna get freight trained.
And let's remind the viewers at home why the traction compound is down low. Bristol was reconfigured a few years ago, and you ran around the wall, and the fans didn't like it. They said, we want the old Bristol back. We want the bump and run back. We want all that action. We want to see people getting together. Well, the Speedway came together with their operations folks and found some compound that makes the truck stick better in the corners, and they put it on the bottom of the racetrack. Here's your bump and run back. I hope you're enjoying it.
It's back for sure. It's Bristol, baby, at its finest, and the groove is so narrow though. As a driver, you're like, really, come on, give me like a couple extra inches of this spray. But it is just so narrow to hit it just right, and then it cakes up with all those marbles that you can see there, and it takes a while for all that to give you the right grip.
Looking forward to this weekend on Fox. You can start your Saturday strong with the big noon kickoff. Pregame show begins at 10 o'clock Eastern, live from Norman, Oklahoma. Then at noon Eastern, dual threat Adrian Martinez leads the Cornhuskers of Nebraska against Spencer Rattler and the third-ranked Sooners. Huge big noon Saturday. Begins 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
There's those tires Parker was wanting. See how far he can come through the field. But you mentioned earlier, Kurt, so many people have stayed on the lead lap because of so many cautions. So he's going to restart outside the top 20. A guy that's just been steady all night long. And if you looked up steady in the dictionary, I think you'd find Matt Crafton. His picture would be beside that. He's always solid in the top 10, and he's taking advantage of a good truck tonight.
How about a little 88 radio with Crafton?
I just got to land and be numb and then go. Exact opposite of what the video game said. Yeah, I mean it would in the video game. I said I just didn't have that feel right there for it in the video game as much as I do in real life. So like when I would land in the video game, if I overcharged it.
And the video game he's talking about is the one that Kyle Larson played at Darlington, right? When he was going after Denny.
It's the sarcasm of an old guy talking about the simulator. That's what all that action is. They're just wishing that they had better tools, or that the simulator can provide a closer accuracy to what's going on in real life. But again, like you said, Mikey, I mean, Matt Crafton is always super steady, hardly a scratch on the truck, and he's cranking out those stage points each and every time.
And don't you love his attitude? That's just in the heat of the battle here at Bristol. Got a little bit of break here, and he's having a conversation with Junior about the simulation / video game.
And one thing too, I like that I saw after that last restart, Hocevar settled into second and started cranking out some laps. Can he do it again? That's the question, because he needs it big time.
That was surprising to me. We saw so much action going on in the back, but Carson was able to stabilize. He didn't want this restart. He was able to get second and get him a little bit of space, and now he's got to do it all over again. This will be interesting.
Would you have chose fourth, or would you have chose where he did, which is inside front row?
I think I would have wanted to be ahead if I could. The bottom, it worked the last time. What about you? You like that outside that much?
You got to get the launch off of 4. That's the struggle on the inside. If you can do that, then you give yourself a chance to really hug that bottom in 1 and 2 and get your lap time going.
You see our Blue Emu race summary. It's been all Sheldon Creed tonight. In fact, he's led double the laps tonight that he had in his prior 9 short track races combined. It has been all Creed this evening. Hocevar up there to have a little something to say about it. We'll see if the 40 coup can get it done.
That and John Hunter Nemechek, he's starting to show back up, but these boys are putting on a battle back here. Racing hard for every stage point that they can kind of grab here.
Yeah, the 98 of Infinger and the 13 of Sauter running 4th and 5th. They're not in the playoffs, but they're certainly in the mix.
Well, Bumper Cam has made it to lap 138. That's good news.
It's still in jeopardy, though.
High risk environment.
That's freezing right ahead of Rhodes, and Crafton is on his outside in that neon yellow.
Man, Crafton just hanging on up top, looking for a spot to squeeze in. Chandler Smith's not going to give him that.
Nah, Chandler Smith is way below the cut line right now. He didn't expect to be in that position. He is got to get up on this horse, use that whip, and go. You are 15 points behind, bud. You got to run.
All of our playoff drivers are in the top 10 except for Zane Smith, who's 14th, and Austin Hill, who is 17th.
Zane Smith's on a bit of a heater, though. That thing has come alive since his issues. He's moving up.
And Hill has had speed tonight as well, but they lost track position with a couple of penalties on pit road, and now they're playing catch-up.
You can see what playing catch-up looks like, Vince. It's just so much traffic, so crowded. Things are so intense. Nobody's giving anyone an inch.
That's Zane's teammate, Chase Purdy, just ahead of him in that Bama Buggies Chevrolet.
You see Crafton, he's settled in, but outside of the top 10, right behind Austin Wayne Self in the 22, he's up in the top 10.
Yeah, this is go time. This is when everything has to just be thrown onto the drivers. All the weight is on their shoulders. All of the team has to just rely now on the driver making good decisions, making passes, and you're going to start catching lap traffic. And that's another point where you can try to gain some lap time and gain some positions on guys.
What about this strategy for Carson Hocevar? I mean, he was outside of the top 8. He wasn't in the playoffs. His crew decided to leave, win and out, stay out. They stayed out, and he's hung on. Now he's 10 points inside the playoffs.
I mean, it's a huge call. I love it.
I love it, too. Look at this truck. It looks perfect. No issues on it. But, man, those tires are older. But he is just, you said, put it on the driver, put it on his shoulders, and, man, Carson has responded.
And he was there making changes on the truck without putting tires on it. That's how far off the handling was, and that's how much he demanded. I want to loosen this truck up. Give me your best. Let's go.
And look what he's done, Vince. Pulled away from the 4 of John Hunter Nemechek. I know Sheldon Creed's in a different zip code, but 42 is closing on him.
Michael, I got to tell you something. That truck, even on 2 restarts ago, was so loose. He thought he had a flat tire. What they needed, though, is these long runs right now, helping this truck a lot to tighten it up, get things calmed down. What a great play by this team to stay out.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, that when in doubt, stay out philosophy, I don't see that working all that many times. I don't see that working all that often. So they really gambled on it this time, and it's paying off for them now.
Well, I'll tell you, and I said it earlier, I didn't see it. I thought he'd be a moving chicane. I didn't see it working this time because of the troubles they were having with the truck. But they made it work. Phil Gould made a great call, and Carson Hocevar is driving the wheels off the 42.
Yeah, Phil Gould, the crew chief on that truck, was the crew chief for Ross Chastain a couple of years ago, and Chastain had so much success for Nice Motorsports.
Yep, they sure did. That's a good combo. And it's paying off. So hopefully it'll work out in the long run. We've got Austin Hill's radio. Let's go to the 16 truck radio.
Stay with it. Keep rolling hard. We got to keep that 21 within sight of us. Let me see you flex your muscles a little bit here.
Yeah, that's another example of what Kurt was talking about. Driver, get up on the wheel. Did you call it elbows out, Kurt?
This elbows out, the weight's on your shoulders. You've got to do your job now. You've got to execute and get everything you can for the team.
And he's talking about that 21 of Zane Smith, and right now Austin Hill runs 16th. Zane runs 12th, and you see that they are the closest to one another on that playoff cut line. Austin Hill 4 to the good. Zane Smith just on the outside.
You know, interesting, Vince. We had both the Smith boys. Oh, trouble.
Contact from Zane, and the caution is out. And Jinjo Cobb has got some damage.
As does Tanner Gray. Excuse me, Taylor. Looked like maybe
Zane ran out of room there.
Yeah, we'll have to look at a replay, but Zane got into Jennifer Joe.
Yeah, things check up quick, and I mean, that's when he was elbows out and he just got too far ahead of himself. We'll have to see exactly how this unfolded. But that's where things jump up so fast at Bristol.
And it's a good thing there's not more damage on that 21 of Smith. So you see the 23 of Purdy involved in that, the 17 of Taylor Gray. But watch Zane Smith right here. Just get into the 10, bang.
Yeah, that was not intentional.
Nope.
Just she bobbled up a bit and he bobbled down, and they came together. And unfortunate for Chase Purdy, who was having a nice run in the Bama Buggies truck. Also for Jennifer Joe and Taylor Gray.
Well, we've seen several drivers have their hands full at various times, either through the middle of the corner or coming out of that traction compound. And looked like Jin Joe just got a little bit loose there, and Zane had nowhere to go. Taylor Gray takes the brunt of it. It's been a tough one on the Gray brothers tonight. Tanner out already. And there's the 23 of Purdy getting put on the hook.
Gray brothers have had issues, and the Smith boys are outside of the playoff cut line. They're not going to advance if they can't figure out something special in our last.
I'd say, and Rhodes is feeling the heat too. He's running P9. He's just been kind of steady Eddie, doing his thing, and he's again not much of a cushion. This is going to go down to the wire. I mean, even Todd Gilliland hasn't had a great night. He's only +6.
I mean, I think if you look all the way up to Hocevar, granted, Hocevar's been out front since he decided to stay out. He's running second, but I mean 9 points. I mean, that goes away pretty quickly. You have one bobble and lose momentum, you can drop 9 points in a hurry.
We saw that earlier. I mean, Crafton was on the front row for a restart, and a few laps later he's 10th. That is exactly 9 points. This is wild on all these guys back and forth. And when I said Todd Gilliland wasn't having a good night, I double-checked the monitor. He's P6 right now because of just how they continue to work on their truck and make it better.
So Ben Rhodes there on the left, running 9th. He's on the good side of the line, and Zane Smith running 12th is on the outside looking in.
All I can say is wow, Vince.
Yep.
This is intense.
I tell you what I'm going to say. Josh Sims on the 21 of Zane Smith. How's that?
Yeah, after that penalty, it's been all about positivity on the radio for the 21 team. They said, we just got to shake that off. There's nothing you can do, but they're reminding Zane that his truck is good enough to win. They have speed. He has done well here in the past. So you see him pushing as much as he can to try and make up ground in the last several laps. But Zane Smith's team, all positivity right now because they know what's at stake.
What's that damage going to do? Kurt, I didn't realize that left front was crumpled in like that. You think that's going to be an issue?
I don't like it, but I don't think it's worth pitting for. You always have a little bit of aero here at Bristol, but not a ton. But again, that is Zane Smith driving for all he's worth, and it was just a simple, small mistake of not giving enough room to a lap truck.
Good look at Bono Mannion, the crew chief for Zane Smith. He's got a win here. Bristol was the crew chief for Martin Truex Jr. back in, I think, 05 was Truex's first Busch win back in the day.
I would have guessed 04, but I'll go with 05.
04, 05, right around in there. Bono confessed to me that he was a little bit nervous coming into this one, though. He said, you know, they felt like last year every week they showed up, they could win. And he said, we haven't felt that way this year, and we know they got a little bit of work to do. They've been buoyed somewhat by their teammate Sheldon Creed's performance, but still need to take a step forward, and they're trying to do that tonight and get on to the next round. Hey, speaking of Creed, how about Sheldon's big announcement this week that he'll be running full-time in the Xfinity Series next season for RCR?
Well, this young racer has become a guy that you know is going to can win any week, and I'll go back to Darlington, Vince. I was so impressed with how he crumpled up his right rear, Kurt, down there on the side where you lean on that truck. That's where all the air, the side force is made back there in that area. And he crumpled it up, and that truck was sideways all night long, and he just simply wheeled it to victory lane sideways. That was impressive. So this kid has really learned. It was last year, Vince. We were at Pocono, and he went into the tunnel turn side by side with a lap to go, and the Sheldon Creed prior to that would have lost it. He would have went in there and lost his truck. He hung onto that truck, and from that day on, we just saw a different driver. A driver that went on to win the championship last year, and a driver that I think is the favorite to do it again this year.
Yeah, it's like a simple mentality of you build your foundation in whatever core racing series you grow up in, and then you just start to build layers on top of that. And now he's at that top level of working through another playoff run towards a championship and signing a contract to race in the next series up. That's everything right now where he's showing the right steps, the right moves, and he's got the confidence. I love it.
I remember crew chief Jeff Stankiewicz telling me at the beginning of last season, remember that Creed and Stankiewicz had teamed up on an ARCA championship, but Stankiewicz said if we can get him to understand you got to slow down to go fast, we really think we're gonna have success in this truck series. And it took him a while.
Yeah,
but I think, Mike, you made that point about Pocono, and maybe that was where we really saw that starting to come to fruition.
It was a difference maker.
Yeah. Downstairs to Jamie.
And Sheldon Creed saying that the second heat cycle on the tires seems to suit their setup just a little bit better. So he's looking forward to this restart. But you talk about short track racing. Sheldon didn't grow up doing it. So he's never finished within the top 5 on a short track. He said, for me, I compare it to other racetracks that I know and that I've been to. For him, this one compares to Gateway. He said it has the same throttle to brake ratio, and that's what he's looking for.
And what he's talking about with heat cycles is sometimes it frees up your truck, sometimes it tightens it up. We go with restart, less than 40 to go.
Oh, Hocevar did not get a good start there on the inside. Nemechek jumping around on the outside of that 42 truck, and Nemechek secures second.
You see him pull down on the straightaway. He's like, I'm going to block this move into 3. You're going to chew on my tailgate, and I want a shot at this Creed guy up ahead.
And Hocevar's just saying, I'll take third. I'll hide right. Just let me hide here for 36 laps, and I'm going to move on.
Exactly. That is spot on, Michael.
The two heavyweights, Creed and Nemechek, at the front. Hocevar running third, but still work to be done for some of these other playoff drivers, like that 18 of Chandler Smith.
These guys are driving for all they're worth. Right now, their heart rate is through the roof. Everybody wants every spot they can grab. They have an update on where they sit in the standings, and now they're just wheeling it, trying to get everything they can.
Chandler Smith and Zane Smith outside the cut line currently. But that 88 of Matt Crafton, he scored enough points tonight.
He's on his
going
way.
to advance to the next round. Well, what a sigh of relief that must be for that camp.
I love that. Crusty veteran out there showing the kids how it's done.
Might even bring a smile to Junior Joyner's face, who always looks like he's got a little pit in his stomach. I love Junior, but man, you see, he wears the emotions on his sleeve, doesn't he?
Man, that was a great move by Chandler Smith, finally making his way around the outside of Grant Enfinger. That shows you how strong the 18 truck is. Still got a ways to go. He's going to be advancing to the next round of the playoffs.
Yeah, these guys are searching all over the track. They're all being, somewhat generous with each other. They haven't really thrown sheet metal at each other.
But if you're a driver like the 52 of Friesen or the 38 Gilliland, even the 99 of Rhodes, I mean, don't you want to just make sure you don't have something disastrous happen right now? Because if it just finishes the way it is, you're okay.
Yeah, Friesen should be not worried about anything right here. But it's Hocevar 42, 16 to 38, the 99. All of those guys are trying to stay in this fight.
It's 30 laps, and it sounds like a lot. Caution.
It's going to bring out the yellow for the 75 of Kligerman, who's had an issue for the second time tonight. That left rear down.
Not very lucky right now. Left flat. Wonder what led to that.
Doesn't look to have much damage. Oh, these laps are going to go by quick to the finish. It's going to be a shootout. Who's going to win at Bristol?
Roman Reigns has held the Universal title for a year, but now he finds himself trapped between the Demon Finn Balor and the Beast Brock Lesnar. It's an all-new Friday Night SmackDown, live at 8 Eastern, tomorrow night on Fox.
We're about to have our own little SmackDown here at Bristol with 25 to go in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Before we go green, let's quickly go down to Jamie on the 88.
There has been a shift in the mood for Matt Crafton and his crew chief, Junior Joyner. Now that they know they advanced to the 8, he said, this is Bristol. You've got a bumper on that truck. It's time to use it. Go ahead and get after that restart, Josh.
Zane Smith has made up some ground since that penalty, up to P11 right now, but he says he's still all over the place, still sometimes loose, sometimes tight, so not exactly happy with the truck right now, Regan.
Simple conversation on Ben Rhodes Radio. All he wanted to know, are we in or are we out? Nothing more.
Well, it's pretty tight. He's 3 points to the good. Can't afford a mistake if you're in that 99 truck.
Yeah, it's on, and now we finally have John Hunter Nemechek on the front row. Is he going to be able to challenge Creed?
He got a little bit better start than we've seen anybody else down there lately, and Creed doesn't go straight to the bottom, and John Hunter's going to heat him up.
The two, yeah, the two championship favorites, the 2 and the 4, and Nemechek gives him a little bumper.
Love it. These are two guys that are racing for pride amongst themselves. It's like, no, I'm the better man right now. I'm the better man. Side by side on the back straightaway. Nobody's giving an inch.
Oh, Nemechek is there.
Woo. Oh, and Creed does a great job. Does a great job squeezing him down.
Creed closes the door. Well done. Holding off Nemechek. Remember, Creed has won the... Oh, and the 22 of Austin Wayne Self has gone around, and we're going to have to re-rack them, line them up, and have another restart.
Why not? Why not? That wasn't exciting enough at all. That was some great racing between two title contenders, just trying to show off to one another, like, who wants this more?
Who's the man?
Yeah.
Are you going to be the demon or the beast? or who's going to be the guy that's going to leave Bristol with that trophy? That's what it's all about.
Yeah, Creed was throwing the hammer down, and then 22 sideways.
Haley Deegan slid past there without any contact, but that was a close call. A little bit of damage on that 22, but not too bad. Parker Kligerman will get the free pass, but there is that cut line there at the bottom left. Ben Rhodes and Zane Smith. It's getting a little tighter, boys.
Look at, I mean, the points are incredible. It's plus 4, plus 3, plus 2, minus. I mean, any bobble, any one of those positions can change.
That it can come down to your choice on which restart lane. And let's say somebody slips the tires in the bottom lane and you chose the bottom and it bottles up and guys go by you. I mean, there is so much riding on the line right now with just those guys. I mean, 42 is plus 4, plus 3, plus, I mean, heck, I mean, Austin Hill isn't even safe.
No, he's plus 7. And we're talking restarts at Bristol. Vince, this is crazy. It's fine. It'll drive you crazy if you're one of these racers. You just got to throw it all out there and see what comes back.
Well, the heart rate of these drivers and the crew chiefs and the families that are watching nervously and just hoping that their driver can get his way in. Rich Lucius there on the left-hand side.
Rich Lucius looks like when this race is over, he's going to need a beer. But these guys are all just trying to figure out, do the math, what's got to happen. I mean, it's right in front of them. You know, there's no tricks ahead. There's 5, 6 guys, I count, racing for 5 spots, and any one of them could be the guy out. That's crazy.
Or are you just trying to tell everybody to go to Michael Walter Brewery down the road? Just opened up, got the new brewery downtown Bristol. That's pretty sweet, buddy. But you're right. All these guys, I mean, all those teams, the families, the crew members, everybody's biting all their nails off. But let's go down to Jamie and get an update.
Well, Sheldon Creed in the number 2 asking the team, where am I better? Where am I losing to the number 4? You said it. It's all about bragging rights at this point, but they told him you need to stay in the black on exit or John Hunter Nemechek has half a truck length of advantage over you. So when we get back to this restart, look for Sheldon to go low.
It's almost seemed, though, that Creed hasn't been able to get his truck to turn down in the corner quite as well as John Hunter.
Well, once he gets going, Vince, he's perfect on the bottom. It keeps picking that outside. It'd be interesting to see if he does it again after the way that John Hunter was able to challenge him.
We heard that report about the 2. How about the radio from the 4?
Remember what that 18's got here, so I want to win this thing, but we got a big picture race it too. You know, like I said, I don't want to give him nothing, but I don't want to end up on the hook either. It's too important for Vegas.
Yeah, that's an interesting development on trying to help a teammate advance through to the next round. And right now, Chandler Smith is -10. Only real option he's got is to win.
Yeah, and he's right there. He can taste it. He can taste it. He's seen the ways those two race each other.
I mean, if those two would have took each other out and then that helps the 18 roll through, I mean, yeah. But right now, it'll be an interesting restart on who does what, who's digging hard and who chooses which lane. That's going to be another little chess match.
Of course, this is the final race of round 1. And then we go to Vegas, September 24th. Cannot wait. Boy, the action is, as you see, always hot and heavy in Vegas. Love it. Love that city and the racing at that racetrack, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. How about Las Vegas, Talladega, and Martinsville in the next round to settle our at 4 to go to Phoenix to run for a championship?
To me, that's as good as it gets. You're going to be wide open on the 1.5 miles, then you're going to go to Talladega and be in a glob all day long, and Martinsville the same thing, only about 100 miles an hour less.
You know, we mentioned Matt Crafton had clinched his way into the next round on points. So has Stuart Friesen with his efforts tonight. So you've got Creed, Nemechek, Crafton, and Friesen. We've got 4 of our 8 that have secured positions for the next round.
And all of the other 6 are trying, Vince. And it's close. Watch that 18 truck. He chose the bottom. Nemechek went up to the top. Oh, did he leave early?
Creed on the outside, Chandler Smith on the inside. Smith needs to get some positions and move his way into the playoff picture.
I just think we saw a teammate help a teammate right there. Chandler Smith now is running P2. He's got a shot at Creed. He's only got one real good shot, right?
Yeah, Nemechek could have gone to the inside on that restart in the choose zone. Decided to start behind Creed.
I think that was some team wizardry there to help the 18 truck and give him this, just give him a chance. He just wants a chance.
But Creed has been so good out front. And a caution is out again.
Oh.
And Austin Hill, the 16 involved, along again with Austin Wayne Self. Oh, that's a heartbreaker right there for that group.
That changes everything.
Austin Hill,
he's out.
That is heavy. That is done for the night kind of damage.
Wow, he was above the playoff line, and now he's below. Here's the 16 radio.
I barely started coming down, and by the time I started straightening out, he already turned me. It's all on me.
Man, that's hard to say, but you got to appreciate someone. All those guys worked so hard on those trucks, and they were thinking they were just a few laps away from moving on in the playoffs, and instead they're on the hook.
Well, Austin Hill's a good racer, but Bristol has just not been his place. In 6 starts here, 1 finish, better than 19th, including tonight.
Man, you would have thought the law of averages would have helped out. Oh, Haley Deegan got caught up in that. We don't quite have the right replay yet. We'll work on getting that. But man, that is end of season as far as a championship run for Austin Hill. Tough break. I mean, that's Bristol. Bristol is like the mean, old, low groove self that it's always been right now.
The last driver to win a playoff race other than Sheldon Creed is Austin Hill, winning at Homestead, Miami.
Yeah, that's late in the replay to see exactly how it all unfolded. Man.
He sounded like he might have come down on someone a little bit. Haley Deegan was solid on the top 15 all night long. Lawless Allen also in the 45. He's been having a good run up inside the top 15.
Let me correct myself and clean this up, because I want to give Grant Enfinger the credit. He won at Martinsville prior to Creed going on his playoff run. I was thinking Austin Hill winning. I think he won the last race when Moffitt won his championship, didn't he? At Homestead when Moffitt clinched the title.
That's a helpless feeling right there when you.
So here's Austin Hill outside on the corner exit, and he's out of the groove. He's like he lost track of the truck's handling, and
man,
Haley had nowhere to go. That is such a tough call with all the different safer barriers now. Trucks, cars, everything turned into ping pong balls at this place. There's no place that's safe to try to dodge a wreck. But man, it looked like Hill had trouble on corner exit.
I think he just got loose on coming off and tried to close the hole, and Josh Berry was already in the hole.
Berry was there.
Just made a mistake.
Under red for the second time tonight for accident cleanup. And watch this. This is big.
Boom. That is how fast things happen here.
Man,
that is real speed, people.
That is violent for Haley into the side. Austin hit the safer barrier, but when you hit another truck, there's nothing soft or that safe about those two trucks colliding like they did. I was so thankful to see them both hop out.
Yeah, it's so hard to react on which way to go here.
What a night, huh, Vince?
It's been something. It has been really just, I think, what we expected it to be. We anticipated that it would be this kind of race. There would be no quarters given. It would be a race that was dotted with cautions because we anticipated that there would be contact tonight because no one wants to give an inch.
And you know, there's 10 laps to go and probably run a couple 3 under caution, but I wouldn't be surprised to see another caution and another twist in this playoff battle because you've still got Chandler Smith, who's got a chance to win this race. He's 7 points below, but besides that, Todd Gillen is only 6 to the good. Any kind of contact, watch him try to get that spot, protect his spot. You could see Hill coming down, and Josh Berry was there. You know, and Kurt, we talk about how fast things happen at Bristol. Josh probably couldn't have reacted had he have wanted to at that point when Austin changed lanes like he did, and Josh is, you know, he's just there. He can't just immediately move over.
No, and that's because of how fast things happen. And then it's like, wait a minute, Barry's sitting there going, why is he changing lanes? Why is he crossing over? Well, Hill was in playoff panic situation of I've got to get to the bottom. I've got to get this position stabilized so we don't have to lose anymore. And he crossed over that like racer code of trying to change lanes. And Barry's like, I don't know what this dude's doing. He drove across my nose.
And what's that do, you know, to this team? They're championship caliber. How do you rebound and go to Vegas? What's your mindset there, Kurt?
It's to go, you know what? Championship hopes are over. We still have 5th place in points to race for. Let's work our way back up and finish strong as a group. That's what you have to take as a mentality anytime you get eliminated in this playoff format, no matter what series, truck, Xfinity, or Cup. Whenever you're eliminated, you still got 5th to race for.
Well, 3 races or 3 seasons in a row, that 16, I think, has felt like they were championship caliber, and 3 years in a row they haven't made the Final 4. So certainly got to be frustrating from that perspective. Back down to Jamie.
Just looking at the points as they stand right now, if you look at that cutoff line, Sheldon Creed's teammate, Zane Smith, is right above it, 3 points into the goods. We already saw the teammate strategy play out with John Hunter Nemechek and his teammate, Chandler Smith. But if Chandler were to get around Creed, win this race, he would go above the line, which would then send Zane Smith below it. So while Sheldon can't do a whole lot other than be defensive, he's got to be thinking teammate, big picture points at this point also.
You're exactly right. I mean, there are so many different scenarios that can play out. That's what this format is all about, and that's why you always hope that you're locked in before these cutoff races, or you can do it with a point cushion like Crafton and Friesen have done tonight.
Yeah, how about a little communication from that 2 camp?
Hey, Sheldon, so the 18 just told Chandler, like, if you brake check or anything like that on the restart or try and do anything funny like that and slow it down, he's just going to take off and go. Just FYI.
How is that right? I didn't
do nothing. I just take off when I want.
No, I know. I'm just telling you what they told him, so it could be a sketchy restart if he just tries to fire off like that. And you know what he's going to do. He has to win this race.
Yeah. The 2 is the control truck, so he has the prerogative to. He can't brake check, but he can. You've got some room to wiggle, don't you, Kurt, on how you would take off as the leader?
Yeah, you're the one that's controlling the race, and you set the tone through the restart zone. The 18 has more to lose than to gain by having that mentality.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 doesn't have to play any games. I mean, he's the one that's controlling it to begin with. Right.
Yeah, you get a button in that truck, Vince, you're allowed to say about anything at this point in your playoff life.
Playoff nerves. Let's listen into the 21's radio. I mean, we're
see what he's got to say.
Yeah. How you feeling?
This is fun.
A little bit of good news is, unfortunately, the 16 is out. So as long as the 18 don't win and we finish, we'll be okay.
And as you guys hear for the 21 team, there's always good news and there's always bad news. So they've been boosting Zane Smith up the last part of this race after that penalty, telling me he has a fast truck and he can win this race. And now he is above the cut line, but the problem is the 18 wins, then he needs to do more to get through or he's out. So they kind of know what's at stake right now. Good news and bad news situation for the 21 team.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, these
21. The 21 can't just finish. I mean, he's got to run right where he's at. He's got no wiggle room.
I mean, I'd still feel better if I'm the 21. I would still feel better if I got ahead of the 99. All right. I mean, if I'm ahead of Ben Rhodes, I'd feel a lot more comfortable.
There's 10 laps to go.
Yeah.
That's
at Bristol.
That's about 2 or 3 minutes.
We could have 2 or 3 restarts,
and we could also have 2 or 3 of these playoff guys crash. I mean, it's that simple. Simply finishing won't do it. You're going to have to charge, and you got to be on the offense. You can't be defensive, and just finishing is defensive.
I don't know what all that means, but I feel like we've seen it all, and we're going to see some more. It's going to be fun. Don't go anywhere. In a race where you kind of feel like you've seen it all, you get the feeling that maybe we haven't seen it all. It is going to be an exciting shootout to the finish here at Bristol with you see 8 to go, but still under caution. And remember, this is a playoff cutoff race, so 2 drivers will not advance to the next round and run for the championship. Austin Hill, we know, is one of those because he's already out. Unless, I guess, if disaster struck, right, drivers could finish even worse.
There's enough going on that any one of those 4 drivers, any 2 of those 4 drivers that are above the cut line don't have enough breathing room not to be out. So that graphic on the bottom of the screen right there tells the whole story. Now, it's going to take it's going to take a crash, but how many cautions have we seen? 11?
Yeah, and I want to give a tip of the cap. I don't want to jinx him at all, but Carson Hocevar and their team made that call to stay out after lap 76. That's the last time he pitted, was lap 76, and he's still running top 5, making sure that he protects his truck and gets back in groove and gets back in running good lap times to stay up front. And right now they see themselves with the most comfort, and that's not much comfort.
No, there's no comfort.
But they have some.
He just knows he's one of those guys that could make it or could still be in trouble. There's just, I mean,
all these guys have battled. Gilliland, Rhodes, Smith has had to come back from that penalty. Chandler Smith has a shot at throwing a haymaker here and trying to pull off this W. And he's going to most likely choose opposite, which he does. He's going to the bottom, and he has to get a clean launch, a clean acceleration through the restart zone off of turn 4 to see if he's got a shot at moving Creed in turns 1 and 2.
How about this Thursday night thunder, Vince? This is awesome. What's the 18 got to say?
You got the 4. Four's going to do everything he can to help you. You're just going to have to get him on the start. You got this, man. Bump and run.
It's Bristol, baby.
Yes, it is.
Here we go.
You get the feeling as well as Creed has run tonight and the speed that he's had, it's going to take the chrome horn to get past him.
I think he's in a bad spot. If 18 can hit him, he's gonna.
He got a good launch.
Camping World 5 to go at Bristol.
He's there. Chandler Smith racing for all he's worth.
Rubbing doors. Can Creed hold him off?
He's gonna hit him.
Smith back to the inside.
He's there. Sideways off 4.
Smith and Creed battling. Smith's got
he missed it.
race.
He missed it. There's Hunter Nemechek.
Creed is in the wall, and now Hunter Nemechek is in. John Hunter Nemechek.
He's got a flat left rear. I think Creed's got a flat left rear. He's going to end up wrecking. Look at Nemechek sideways.
And Chandler Smith
back to the
gets
lead.
around.
I mean, whether he overdrove it or gave it back, I'm not sure, but look at this. 2 KBM trucks battling for the lead. They don't know what they're doing right now, trying to figure it out. And there's
Creed
Creed.
is still out. Nemechek got into the left corner of Chandler Smith a little bit, but Smith now starting to pull away, and it looks like maybe Nemechek's got a problem as Infinger moves into second.
Chandler Smith executed the restart perfectly, and he's put himself in position. Here's the white.
White flag is out for Chandler Smith. It will be his first career win, and it was in a must-win situation to advance to the next round of the playoffs. What a place to get your first career win. It's Bristol, baby, for Chandler Smith.
Wowzers. Wowzers. I mean, we'll double check everything as far as who's advanced. Zane Smith looks like he's in, and then somehow Todd Gilliland ends up being the odd man out with Chandler Smith winning.
Wow.
Unbelievable. I didn't see that one happening for Todd Gilliland. Wow. And Zane Smith comes back from that penalty, and he's in, and that is some KBM mastery of teamwork, communication, and execution in my mind.
Look at the way that the points shifted in those final 5 laps. Todd Gilliland ends up out, and Chandler Smith with the win secures his spot. And Zane Smith and Ben Rhodes, Carson Hocevar barely making it in.
Hell yeah, boys. How about that?
Holy shit, all of you guys. John is good, man. Thank you so much.
You've got one happy little brother, Kurt.
advanced a couple trucks, but I tell you, Chandler Smith got the job done. That was impressive to watch. I mean, you have to execute in all little areas, and he did. And that help of a teammate and the confidence he had in that wheel to go after Creed like that. Creed's not going to be happy, not one bit. But Creed had to know that that haymaker was coming.
And a year after 17-year-old Sam Mayer became the youngest Bristol winner, 19-year-old Chandler Smith makes it 2 teenagers in a row, the second youngest Bristol winner, 19 years old, from a little tiny town of Talking Rock, Georgia. And it could not have come at a more opportune time to score his first career win.
These kids show up to race these trucks, Vince, and we get to see the stars being born, and they're ready to go when they get these opportunities. And what an excellent restart that was for Chandler to be able to stay beside Sheldon Creed.
And what a sickening feeling for Todd Gilliland.
Doing everything right. You were probably given an update on the points that you were to the good. Only if this guy wins.
And then just, what about Carson Hocevar? What a job that team did. What a pit call they made to put themselves in that position.
Impressive all the way through for those guys. And yeah, the heartbreak for Gilliland's team. But man, again, I just want to congratulate him on the solid execution of the steps that it takes on a 5-lap dash at Bristol. Chandler Smith got the job done.
Jamie Howe is down there with the winner.
And for Chandler Smith, it was a perfect execution on the restart. You told me earlier, if you could go back to 2019, if you knew it was going to be this hard to win, you would have changed those restarts. Where did that come from tonight?
Man, God is good. God is so damn good. I've really been tested here in the last year or two and tested my faith, and I've kept it, man. This is unbelievable. I can't thank everybody behind me, man. This is just amazing. Safe Flight, Toyota, KBM, Kyle Busch, everybody, Jack Irving. It's just, it's incredible. I'm speechless right now.
We saw you make that pass around Sheldon Creed in the 2. We saw the teamwork that happened with John Hunter Nemechek. Put into perspective the team aspect of truck racing.
Man, I feel like truck races is definitely probably the hardest out of all 3 series right now. It's just 2019, I felt like I was really, really good. And nothing's changed about me. The competition's got a lot harder, so had to go to work and do a lot more and more studying, and it's just finally paid off. Like I said, God's just so good, man. I'm so happy right now. It's unbelievable.
You are now a Bristol winner. Congratulations to our race winner, Sheldon Chandler Smith. Josh?
I'm here with Zane Smith, who just gets through to the next round. You had to battle all night. You get the penalty. You fight your way back just to get through to the round of 8. Let me know what the roller coaster of emotions had to be for you during this race tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately, this has kind of become the new norm of going to the back. I heard it was a BS call, but I guess they have been all year. I really don't know, but want to apologize to my teammate for always having to go back there, and if I was up there, I would have loved to help him out with either wrecking or moving the 18 or the 4, because God, I can't stand when teammates do that stuff. But I can't wait till we finally have one of these without a penalty, and it should be a lot easier.
Zane Smith through to the round of 8. Regan?
Well, one driver that's not through to the round of 8 is going to be Todd Gilliland. Todd, you spent the majority of the night in a good position. At the very end, though, Chandler Smith gets the lead. It bumps you out. How aware of the situation were you at the end of the race?
I was pretty aware, and then just that last restart was kind of chaotic, and I pretty much knew I needed to beat the 99 to be in an okay spot, and honestly don't even know what happened. They just both slipped by me, the 21 and the 99, so just honestly it's heartbroken, at a loss for words. I really don't know what to say. It's just honestly heartbreaking. So just everyone in Speedco, Front Row Motorsports worked so hard for this. We've had a good year, I feel like, and just miss it by 2 points there is really, really, really stings. So just thank you to Bob Jenkins, everyone at Front Row Motorsports for giving me this opportunity, and just heartbroken.
tough end of the night, tough end of the playoffs for Todd Gilliland. Josh?
Yeah, Stuart Friesen has been the picture of consistency through the first 3 races of the postseason. I see you just checking out the damage real quick to make sure the truck is okay. But how have you been so consistent so far in the playoffs?
Well, race to race for sure. Thanks to Chris Larson, Helmar, everybody in my living room watching at home. I appreciate you guys. We're coming back for Fonda this weekend, big race weekend for us. But I don't know. We had a really good truck tonight. Just didn't have really good long run speed, and it was probably some stuff I was doing that I needed to clean up, and got a good restart at the end, and just about had a pretty good catastrophe there. I tried to get a little bit too much getting around the 42 on that one restart when he stayed out, and thought we were going to get good, and then just lost it a buff forward and tagged the wall. So probably a quarter of an inch from a flat right front, but we'll take it. The Tundra was awesome again tonight, and our guys are on point, so looking forward to rolling the rest of the season. And like I said, thanks everybody at home, everybody in the Northeast, all our Northeast mod fans, we appreciate it, and we're going to keep digging for you.
Stuart Friesen finishing 5th place tonight here at Bristol. Regan?
Well, certainly not the conversation that we wanted to have standing outside the Care Center. Austin Hill, first off, glad you're okay. Hard hit there. Talk me through the events as they unfolded coming off of turn 4.
Yeah, I was just trying to get in line, and spotter told me that he was coming and that he was there. Kind of went down a little bit just to kind of see if I could spook him a little bit, see if it maybe make him lift. And I misjudged it. I came down too much, and then as soon as he got into me, it just takes all the rear stability out of it, and off we went. So, hate that we tore up all those other race trucks. Don't know who all was in it, but hope everybody ended up all right. But yeah, it's all on me. I let my team down. They brought me a hot rod here to Bristol. This is a place that we're not very good at, and we were really good tonight. Sped on pit road and just choked it. I mean, what else do you say? So we'll go on to next year. Don't know what next year looks like yet, but hopefully I'm with these guys and I can redeem myself for them in this organization, because they deserve a lot better than what they got tonight. So we'll see.
Thanks, Austin.
We saw Matt Crafton lock himself into the top 8 tonight, but Matt, you were struggling on the restarts. What is it you were lacking?
I don't know. I just couldn't take off like they were, and I there at the end, I just tried to keep taking big runs and see if I could do anything about it. I don't know if I was doing something wrong. I just didn't have the acceleration. Just struggled on it for whatever reason. We were off just a little bit tonight. Just on land, we always fought tight on land and would have to wait on it. And if I backed the corner up, it was better, but then they would run me over on entry. Like I said, it's definitely not the night we wanted, but all in all, I mean, thanks to you guys for working hard. Menard Toyota Tundra will be good in Vegas, and it's go time again.
And that big picture mentality worked out for him tonight, Regan.
Had one of the most eventful nights. You were tight early, then you were loose at one point. You said you thought you had a flat tire, but you guys persevered. You're out of the next round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that's our season, right? We just never quit. This team doesn't just keeps pushing, keeps working on the truck. You know, we in stage 2 we used it as a test session for stage 3 just to make the thing a little bit better. Just really struggled the first fire off of restarts. Just kind of was fish out of water. I needed that thing to go green. I know the 2 was probably saving, so he was just playing with me a little bit, but I wanted to see that go green. I felt like I was pulling everybody behind me, but you know, Al Neese and this group deserve to be here. You know, I'm still proving I deserve to be here, but you know, I was shocked on how close that thing was. I can't believe that.
Nice job, Carson. Josh?
Here with Ben Rhodes, who finished 9th tonight, 2 points above the cut line, cutting it close. Ben, what was the roller coaster of emotion like for you tonight? And you're relieved because you just told me, I know that.
Yeah, I think this race shaved a few years off my life. That was some really stressful racing. I mean, you know, you look at the 38 being on the outside now, and I think we finished 1 spot ahead of him, 2 spots ahead of him. But, I mean, with the 18 winning the race, it made it where we had to finish in front of those guys. So, gosh, just really close and not exactly how we wanted our race to go. You know, we wanted to get stage points. We wanted to do all these things to make it easy on ourselves, and that didn't happen. We just weren't as fast as we needed this Bombardier Tundra to be tonight. So we've got to really go back and improve, because right now how we're running isn't the way to win the championship and get to the Final Four. So we got some work on our side, and you know, the good news is we're going to some bigger racetracks where your teammates are an advantage, and we got strength in numbers with ThorSport Racing, Talladega, Las Vegas, some big racetracks, and it's good to have friends. So we're going to do all we can. We're just going to have to go back and have a good meeting on Monday morning and say, hey, here's what we got to work on, and we got to get better. So, but all in all, just got to say thank you to Bombardier, Toyota, ThorSport Racing, Wiley X, and Farm Paint. They've been great for us this year.
It's all about surviving and advancing this time of year. Jamie?
Well, Sheldon Creed has certainly done more than just survive. He dominated this race up until the very end. It was that final restart. You cut that tire. What happened?
I don't know, let me watch here. Kind of washes up into me, or that's after the left race down, but I was kind of at their mercy. I had two teammates behind me. The 4 was going to do whatever he had to do to let the 18 be up front, and kind of knew I was going to get hit at some point, didn't know where, and yeah, he just kind of got into me off at 2 and slowed me down a little bit. I think that's maybe what started to cut it down, and then ran me up the track in 3, ran me up the track back into 1, just did what he had to do to win. So yeah, they're on their way into the next round, but I don't know if you're going to get away with that in the next round. So not really worried about them. The 4 knows who's fast and who's here to race for this thing. So I want to thank all my guys, 3 really fast race trucks to open up the playoffs. Lifkits for last, Trent Shoring, everyone back at GMS Fab Shop building really fast race cars, and it's really fun to be able to go do that and dominate races like that. It's a lot more fun than going and running 10th. So really having fun right now, racing my dirt car more, loving that, and just thankful for my whole family, all my crew guys, and everyone that's in our corner. So time to go try to make it to Phoenix.
He said he's having fun, Vince, and I like those fighting words. The 4 know who's fast.
Yeah, laying down the gauntlet a little bit there. Nothing wrong with that. And when you have the dominant performance that Sheldon Creed has had the last 3 races, I think you've got all the confidence in the world to puff your chest out a little bit. That's for sure.
Well, it was fun to watch, and you had to know that what was coming. You know, when they restarted Bristol with all that's on the line, you're going to get run into, and that's exactly what happened to Sheldon.
Well, here's our 8 drivers and the championship reset in regards to their standings as we go to Las Vegas later this month, with John Hunter Nemechek leading the way. And undoubtedly, when we're at Martinsville in about a month, we're going to be talking about how tight it is again, just like we were tonight. It's just always the way it works out. And I think these 8 guys right here have shown themselves worthy of being in the position they're in.
What an incredible set of emotions from all those interviews. I mean, Creed can have that smile and that swagger, but he's laying down the talk to John Hunter Nemechek. Like, yep, I'm the guy right now. St. Smith, he's kind of grumpy, but hey, buddy, you're in. You advanced. And then with Todd Gilliland, that's a heartbreak. Austin Hill as well. Their seasons are done for a championship ride.
Marking on the calendar, Friday night, September 24th in Las Vegas. For Regan Smith, Jamie Howe, Josh Sims, Kurt Busch, Michael Waltrip, I'm Vince Welch. Thanks for joining us from Bristol, where Chandler Smith has won.